de babão.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
Happy Friday, everybody. How we doing, Ash? How did you know that?
That don't make no sense.
That's creepy, Ash. Ash, are you spying on me? Do you have cameras in my house? How did you know I was wearing a red sweater? Craziness. Anyways, welcome in here on a Friday. Busy Friday here on If You Don't Like That, the first of 5 shows for you tonight. So we are getting it in. We are going to be here all night, all day. Grant's going to be back at 4 o'clock doing an open forum show for everybody. So come stop by. I'll talk about football last night. Also, sorry, I got to get this red sweater. You know what? It's Royale. Ash, Royale is rubbing off on everybody, but Grant's back at 4 o'clock. You can bet he's probably gonna have some thoughts on good old Royale, the new mascot. De'Aaron Fox had some thoughts on him earlier today. De'Aaron hadn't seen it. It cracked me up. I already had my studio set up, and as soon as I heard the audio, I'm like, too good, because that was exactly what I was kind of thinking too. Anyways, get up in here. It is a Royal Rumble Friday, meaning you guys can come up at any time. You can come up, multiple people on screen. Love to have you. We've got a couple of Friday staples. We've got Adam at 1:45 talking WWE. Talk WWE for 15 minutes. And then we may or may not have Haunted Horse to give you some NFL parlays. We'll get our fill of that at 2 o'clock if he's going to come in. Otherwise, we're taking your calls, taking your comments. You can use the QR code to call the show. You can click the link in the chat if that is better for you. Kings and Timberwolves tonight. The NBA Cup tips off. Thank goodness. The Kings court, funny. The Kings court, the Kings NBA Cup court isn't too bad on the eyes. It is fairly neutral. It's not going to be anything like the Clippers court. Have you seen that one? Holy crap. That is red. But yes, get up in here. Happy to have you here. We close out the week strong. As always, we are brought to you by Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Check out all 3 of their locations in the greater Sacramento area. By the way, start putting in your pre-orders for Thanksgiving. If you want to order to go, they have family meals that are hot and ready for you to pick up if you don't cook on Thanksgiving. If you'd like to go out to dinner on Thanksgiving, Bennett's is the place. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com for more information. You can put in your to-go orders directly on the website. Now, let's kick it off with your comments. We've got a lot going on today besides the Kings and the Timberwolves. You've also got the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight. I'm sure most of you are going to be watching that. I'm going to be watching that along with the Kings game. I'm intrigued. Jake Paul is single-handedly keeping boxing alive. He's keeping boxing on life support. This guy came in as a novelty, and now he's actually kind of done his thing, not going to lie. And a lot of questions swirling around whether this is an exhibition fight or not. We'll talk about it. It's going down in Texas. It's going down from Jerry's World. How about that? That's going to be quite the scene. And the betting, by the way, holy crap, the betting is going nuts in Vegas. This is a very, very big event for action. So we'll get to that in a little bit. A lot going on. Again, you are welcome to call the show at any time. Much to talk about. I don't know how I feel about this Timberwolves team. Coming off of a few losses, specifically 2 to the Portland Trailblazers in Portland. They had that weird back-to-back. The Kings have that with the Pelicans. Now, the back-to-back games where you play a team 2 times in a row, that's nothing new. It's been around for a couple of seasons, but doing it on back-to-back nights is new, and the NBA has implemented that. But Minnesota, losers of 3 coming into tonight. It's pretty clear where the keys lie in this game. We'll go over them a little bit later as we get into the show. We have audio from practice yesterday, also audio from shoot-around this morning. The update on DeMar DeRozan, we might as well hit that really quick. He is a game time decision. He did not practice yesterday, which was not a big surprise. Depending on who you talk to, it's between game time decision and doubtful. It's really going to come down to how the heck does that back feel when it comes to about 5:30 tonight and he hits the floor and tries to warm up a little bit. I think the energy in the building, in fact, the people that I talked to around the team, the energy yesterday was much different at practice. They watched a ton of film. It kind of felt like, for instance, my son right now, he's in the 4th grade and he's doing long division. And I'm not going to lie. Any of you, have you looked at a long division problem in the last 20, 30 years? When was the last time you looked at one of those and said, "Oh, I remember how to do that"? Like, he was so proud as we worked through one of the problems. And yes, I had to YouTube it. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to YouTube long division to make sure I remembered it correctly. But once he got to the bottom of it, he was so satisfied. Like, when it clicks, it felt like something clicked with the Kings against Phoenix. Now, granted, lots of things to clean up. We've talked about the giveaways. We've talked about the offensive rebounds, but something clicked and there was a different energy in the building yesterday. Also some different music too, I heard. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so good things going across the board. Let me know where you're watching the show from today. I always enjoy hearing that. Soof, what's up? If you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball. Yes, indeed. You're just putting Grant's taglines in there. Do you got roll your sleeves up to your freaking neck as well? Yeah, we already went over that. Dude, you are just going. You're watching me in my house, Ash. All right, fair enough. At least I know, right? Yes, the link was up. So you were watching me. Interesting. Because I didn't see you there. Funny. Usually I'll see if anybody is on. Good job by you. Let's see. Royal Rumble. Yeah, you guys can get up in here. Ash was in the waiting room. I missed it. I didn't have my headphones in. That's probably why. Plenty to talk about. Yeah, we do 15 minutes of WWE on Fridays. I'm not going to lie. I'm into it. One of my buddies that was my roommate in college for 1 year, he actually works for the WWE. And he is the reason that I kind of got pulled back into it. And yeah, now I'm into it. I like it. Adam's into it. He knows his stuff. That's why he's our correspondent. Is it different from last year's court? Off the top of my headlights, I don't remember last year's court. I want to say last year's had a lot of blue in it. Didn't it? Didn't it have a lot of the royal blue? I could be wrong. This one's more neutral, but it might be the same. Could be. Tyson is going to win. Yeah, they're doing 8 2-minute rounds. 8 2-minute rounds. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll also talk about Royale. Oh my gosh. That is the name of the new mascot. And we looked at it yesterday. We marinated on it. Do you think the Kings are really going to roll him out? I think you've got to maybe pull it back on Royale if I'm the Kings. No reason to roll that thing out. But I've got some thoughts on it now again today too. And De'Aaron Fox's reaction, really, really good. It was funny stuff. I don't think Tyson's going to knock him out. I would be surprised. You guys think Mike Tyson still has all that power? I know he looks good. I've been watching the Netflix series leading up to the fight. Look, Mike Tyson could knock out any of us probably at any age, but it doesn't feel like that kind of fight. It just doesn't, especially with the 8 2-minute rounds. There could be a lot of hugging, a lot of moving around, and not as much action as we're hoping for. And it's kind of cool that it's on Netflix. I do like that you don't have to pay $97 for the standard definition version of it. James, what's up, dude? You're a Wolves fan. You expect them to win tonight, especially back-to-back losses to Portland. Yeah, losers of 3 in a row. Now, Portland plays a little bit of a different style now that they put Donovan Clingan in the starting lineup. There is a couple of things that stick out dramatically about this Wolves team, and we're going to go over them here in a little bit. But if the Kings, there's a route for the Kings to win this game. And it's not going to be easily, but there's definitely a route to make this game uncomfortable. And I think Portland kind of showed that in their 2 wins as well. But I'm with you, man. The last time they came in here, the Timberwolves, they came off a loss in LA to open up the season. And the Kings made it difficult on them. But you just remember that stretch in the 3rd quarter where the Kings were up, I believe it was like 11. And Ant hits 3 triples in a row. And the lead is gone like that. And the Kings were never able to really recover from that. Expect Ant to drop 30 plus. I expect him to shoot 33s. We're going to go over that. But yeah, they rely, James, you know this. You know this if you are a Timberwolves fan. They rely so heavily on the 3-point shot. And it's Ant that's taken a lot of them. And he's a good 3-point shooter. It wasn't great in the last couple games against Portland, but he can definitely knock them down. Kevin Herter, Keon, and Trey got to show up again today. Well, look, I think a lot of that depends on how De'Aaron Fox shows up. We talked about it on yesterday's show, and we're going to listen to the audio from practice. And to me, I think that is something that is permeating through the building. That is something that is contagious. It's that ball movement. And really, it starts with De'Aaron. When the ball stalls, I'm not ready to put that clearly on DeMar DeRozan. Now, certainly, the ball's been a little bit sticky with DeMar, but he's been a good passer out of the double teams. He's been able to find looks for other guys when he's not putting his head down and going to work. And most times when he puts his head down and goes to work, it's because the Kings need it right then and there. He's been that stopgap for them. So when De'Aaron's shooting 10, 11, 13 threes a game, that's where that ball movement stalls, in my opinion. But we'll listen to the audio. We'll see what y'all think. Seems like there's a lot of reinforcement on that from the coaching staff. Coach Brown talked about it a little bit yesterday. Yep, with you 100% lights. Yep, nailed it. Jay Uso. Yeah, Jay is so hot right now. We'll talk to Adam about that. But Jay is very, very hot. Derek hopping in about the court. Similar colors with the Kings name going vertical on the side to last year's jerseys. Yeah, exactly. And so they've got now, instead of, it's the cup that's at the center court now. I didn't look carefully at the colors. I was looking more at the primary colors of the court. And that's more of like a gray and I don't know. They're light gray and a beige. It's good. It is good. It's not going to be hard on your eyes. No, Slamson's still around. This Royale is just supposed to be for when the Kings wear the city editions. But it's so stupid. Why not just throw a jersey on Slamson and call it a day? Why do you have to mess with something that's already good? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We didn't need another mascot. We didn't. Especially a creepy one. We'll get into it. I got more pictures and thoughts on it. Mark Yeet. I don't have the Yeet sound drop. I got LA Knight right now. It's the best I can do for all of you. Dude, I am not acknowledging Solo. I'm not a Solo Sikoa guy. I'm not. First off, the dude looks like a limousine driver. He looks like the dude that's holding the sign when you get off the airplane, you know? Ryan in Sacktown. That's what he looks like, especially with those leather gloves. Like, he just doesn't do it for me. And now you've got somebody in his faction that's way more interesting and way better, in my opinion, in the ring, in Jacob Fatu. I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to give Solo any type of significant singles run as long as Jacob Fatu is beside him. It's going to be weird. The ad with Bibby and Christie is so good. Yeah, it's pretty good. They're in the driveway shooting hoops. Not bad. Solo is so bad he's good. Yeah, anyways. All right, let's get into the Kings. Top story. Shoot around today. For the Kings, they had practice yesterday, which was a really good practice. Again, everybody that I talked to he does need a little bit of a deeper voice. You're not lying, Mark. You are not lying. Mark, I need to talk to you offline. Well, I'm going to reach out to you. I'll DM you. Anyways, nothing bad, dude. You probably know what I need to talk to you about. I need to make sure that Monk jersey got to you. So last time I talked to you, you said you hadn't got it. So, anyways, mood in the building, really good yesterday. Coach Brown watched over the film. He had some additional thoughts on what he saw the night before. Here is Coach Brown yesterday at practice.
You just got to keep coaching it, keep showing it. The guys understand that sometimes we overpenetrate, and sometimes we. Paint, and that's what we did last night when we tapped that paint, whether it was off of a drive, off of a roll, and the ball hitting the pocket, even sometimes off of a cut. You feel that second defender pull over, somebody's open, and so that can add to your shot quality in the right direction if we get off those types of shots.
100%. We all saw that. I've been saying for a week and a half now, 2 weeks, about rhythm. The ball has energy. Apparently Doug Christie agrees with me on that. But rhythm is so important. You have got to have that ball moving. Kevin Herter also talked about what they saw in the film last night.
Film on, I think a big indicator of that was how we were getting those shots. I think we did a better job of getting the paint, spraying the ball, a lot of more catch and shoot, kick out opportunities, and that was big emphasis going into last night. And got 2 more coming up back to back. Obviously, important one tomorrow, so we're getting ready.
Now, this is a tricky one tonight because you don't want to get into a 3-point shooting contest with the Timberwolves. You don't, for a couple of reasons. You're going to get up and down the court really quick. Pace. The Kings want to play at a high pace. Minnesota, not so much. The Timberwolves, their pace is 16th in the NBA. Now, granted, the Kings is only 12th right now. The Kings want to play faster. They played faster against Phoenix. Now, you're going to be facing better oppositions. You're going to have better competition on the court tonight. They were playing against a lot of Phoenix backups. Now, granted, the counter argument to that is those guys are probably playing their ass off, which they were, because they were getting minutes that they normally don't get. But when I talk about the 3 ball, here's the number that I'm going to point you to with Minnesota. Minnesota is second in the league, second in the NBA, or excuse me, 6th in the NBA at 3-point attempts. They are 7th in the NBA at 3-point percentage. The 2-pointer is really interesting to me with Minnesota. Check this out. They are 29th in the NBA in 2-point attempts, 29th, yet they are 6th in the NBA in 2-point percentage, which means they are doing nothing from the mid-range. They are either in the paint or they are shooting the 3 ball, which means the Kings got to drive them off of the 3-point line tonight. And they did an excellent job of that in the first matchup in Sacramento. However, you don't have the same lineup that you had. You don't have Malik Monk on the perimeter, who is out tonight, obviously. You've got Keegan Murray still. Are you going to have DeMar DeRozan? I don't know. A lot of questions to Coach Brown, asking him, how does the offense change with or without DeMar DeRozan? Here's what Coach had to say yesterday.
We do have in for DeMar, they're more ISO sets, and when he's not here, we don't have much of that. We have some pick and roll things for Foxy where he gets downhill uses his speed, and it's up to him to either finish and or spray it. And he did not a great job, but a fantastic job of spraying the basketball. I think he started it off for us by hitting somebody in the right wing on one of his pick and roll drives, and it just kind of snowballed from there for the good for us.
With the NBA Cup outside of maybe point.
It absolutely did snowball. And here's the thing, the other stat that I'm going to point you to. Minnesota, check this out. 2-point attempts, they will give them up to you. They are not a good on-ball defensive team. You can get by them. In fact, they're second worst in the NBA at allowing 2-point attempts. So the Kings' game plan is right in front of you. You've got to do exactly what you did against Phoenix. Get in the paint, spray it out. Now, you still got a couple of towers down there for Minnesota, but Julius Randle typically plays a little bit more outside. You want to bring him out if you are Domantas Sabonis tonight. Make Rudy Gobert guard you. Also, in terms of 2-point attempts, Minnesota, they are 8th worst in the NBA at allowing 2-point attempts. So the formula is definitely there for the Kings tonight. Now, can they capitalize on it? Minnesota is terrible at turning the ball over. Terrible. James knows this. They are 26th in the NBA. If the Kings do anything like they did against Phoenix, where they had unforced turnovers and they are just spraying the ball left and right into the crowd, it is going to be a massive problem. In fact, the Kings will not win the game if they do not covet the basketball tonight. Minnesota, you can turn them over. The pressure, you've got to pump it up on both sides. Now that the Kings have had a day of rest, I think that is greatly going to help out. A guy that's been playing excellent, and I mean excellent on both sides of the court, is Kevin Huerter. Kevin was asked, what are you doing different? What do you feel like has changed this season? Here's what Kevin had to say.
I think it's always something that I've had in my game. It's just doing it every single game, being more consistent with it. And this coaching staff, especially, us rebounding the ball has been a big emphasis for us. And as we continue to get better offensively and, everyone get more comfortable with each other, I think the assists and all that stuff will come. And for me, it's just trying to play as hard as I can every night.
Yeah, exactly right. That was the one thing at the start of the post-game show that I took away from the game against Phoenix. That was huge to me. The fact that Fox normally averages 6.5 3-point attempts, yet he averages 4.8 assists per game. When you flip that around and you see the ball open up and move, changes the dynamics of everything. Coach Brown on guarding Minnesota in the different look now that they have Julius Randle.
It's difficult. It's not only is it difficult to game plan for them, but also for them to get it going. You look at a team like Dallas adding Clay to the mix, and it's going to take some time for those guys to figure out rotations and what actually works on the offense end of the floor, what actually works defensively, because not that Clay's a good defender, but they had a really good defender, a specialist in Herb Jones, I think it was, that left last year. So it takes an adjustment for those guys as well as for anybody that's going to play against those guys, because you got to figure out different things.
So the Kings got to bring it tonight. We know it. The NBA Cup, this is their first NBA Cup game this season. Here's how the Cup sets up for the Kings and the rest of the West A. So that is the schedule. Remember, the NBA Cup is played on Tuesdays and Fridays. What's up, Flores? My man, is DeMar playing tonight? Game time decision. Did not practice yesterday. I've talked to a couple of people around the team, and I've heard anything from doubtful to game time decision and everything in between. So I know that's really ambiguous. It's really going to come down to he's doing a ton of treatment. I know that. There's been almost around-the-clock treatment on that back. So it's really going to come down to how much more treatment can they get in before it's time to warm up for the game tonight, and how does he feel? Can he get out there, loosen up? And then also you've got to have a plan for staying loose as well for when DeMar's not on the court. Anybody that's ever dealt with a back injury, the second that you sit down and, tighten up, It's really hard to ramp that back up and get going again. So, anyways, Kings and the Timberwolves, that is a general overview of what the team's thinking, a general overview of what I'm looking at in terms of the statistics. We will dive much deeper into it tonight on the pregame show. Remember, that starts at 6:15 tonight. The pregame show with Ryan in Sacktown. That is a weird looking Ryan in Sacktown character. Not going to lie to you. I don't know how I feel about that one. We need to get a new one. Anyways, and then don't forget, we have got Jerry Reynolds with us at halftime. Looking forward to that. Game 13. He will be joining us at the intermission to talk, and maybe we'll talk some Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I don't know. We'll talk some Kings, obviously. Let you know what we liked and didn't like about the first half. Give you the keys to the second half. And then don't forget about the post-game show. We wrap it up and open the phones up to all of you. So make sure that you are around for the post-game. It is our signature show here on the channel. And quite frankly, I feel like it's the best post-game coverage in Sacramento. I do. I'm proud of the product that we put out and very grateful for all of you that join us for that. So anyways, I'm still reeling a little bit from yesterday. Remember, if you weren't here yesterday, if you haven't been online in 24 hours, maybe if you have kids around right now, it'd be a good time to take them out of the room. Maybe just have them go have some quiet time, read a book in their room. Maybe put them down for a little nap, because we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit disturbing. Not sure. In fact, if you are at work, this may not be suitable for work. So maybe close the blinds in your office, turn the screen to the side. If you're going to take the risk and stay with me through this segment, you've got your warning. So yesterday we talked about the Kings' new City Edition jerseys. Yes, the new City Edition jerseys. And when I saw them, just the jersey alone, I'm like, I don't know what I think about that, right? And then the Kings released a picture of Keegan Murray wearing the jersey. Looked okay. And then they released this picture. And it's like almost focused in on that freaky looking face, like almost a Mr. Met's face. Looks like a fast food face. We'll go over that here in a little bit. De'Aaron agreed with me. And I'm like, oh, that's a little bit weird. And now I'm not sure if I like these uniforms. And then the Kings introduced all of us to Royale. Yes, Royale. He is the Kings mascot when the Kings are going to be wearing the City Edition uniforms. I'm going to shut up for a second about Royale, and I'm going to let De'Aaron Fox. You know what? This is a live reaction in real time of De'Aaron Fox seeing Royale for the first time. Credit to my boy Sean Cunningham for picking this up.
You're releasing a mascot?
For when you do the City Edition.
Oh, I have not seen it.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll make sure to show it to you.
Oh, I say I have not.
Just,
For the jerseys, we got a new mascot?
We got a new mascot
It's,
just for the jersey.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Meet Royale.
His name is Royale. Royale.
Yeah.
He looks like he'd work at a fast food
restaurant.
What the F is that? I still maintain and stand by my comments yesterday. It looks like he has a shark jaw on his head. That looks nothing like the crown that's on his head here. In fact, the face looks nothing like his face here. I mean, good version of Royale, bad version of Royale. So I started kicking it around, thought about it some more, and I'm like, all right, what does it remind me of? Here was the first thing it reminded me of. The Brooklyn Brawler. Now, I don't remember what the hell his gimmick was or his name, but I remember the gimmick. He painted his face like a baseball. I don't know why. That came to mind. So this is where my head was going yesterday. If you were tuning into the show, you got my reaction in real time. Now I'm demonstrating it for you. So I'm like, okay, kind of like that. And then I'm like, well, wait, kind of looks like Big Boy, right? The Burger Kid. There's a little bit of mix of the Brooklyn Brawler and the Burger Kid, Big Boy, right there. And then I'm like, there's something else there too. Then I'm like, oh, it's Brutus from Ohio State. He's in on the action. So whoever the artist is that came up with Royale, I'm thinking that he must have gotten similar inspiration from me. And then I'm like, well, no, there is some Brutus, there's some Big Boy, there's some Brooklyn Brawler, but there's also some Huggy freaking Wuggy in Royale. There really is. Look at not only the colors, but the teeth, right? Don't those teeth look like the crown that Royale is wearing on his head? Look at that. What's going on? In fact, again, De'Aaron, help me out. Foxy, help me out here.
You're releasing your mascot?
For when you do the city edition.
Oh, I have not seen it.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll make sure to show it to you.
I say I have not.
Just,
For the jerseys, we got a new
We
mascot?
got a new mascot
It's,
just for the jersey.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Meet Royale.
His name is Royale.
What the F is that? Tell me, though, that you don't see a little bit of all of these things in Royale. We've got the Brooklyn Brawler. We've got Big Boy. We've got Brutus. And unfortunately, we have Huggy Wuggy. Huggy Wuggy gives me the creeps. You merge all four of those together, and you got good old Royale. Now, I pose this question to you, and I mean this. I hit you with this question yesterday, and I can't believe that these two things are in the same conversation. What is worse, Royale or Dwayne Wade? I think it's got to be Royale, right? You know, I don't disagree, Gavin. Gavin, good poll by you. Good poll by you, Gavin. Good job. There is a little bit of Jack in the Box in Royale. But honestly, I think I would rather be in the presence of that statue than the presence of Royale. Like, Royale looks like he's going to be jumping out of a closet at you, not shooting a hot dog into the stands. Royale looks like something an adult wears to work on Halloween. Does not look like a mascot. I can assure you the line is going to be very short to get a picture with Royale. The Kings have got to walk this back. They've got to walk this back. And I've looked around online. I've looked at the reaction. Your star player, the face of your franchise, says, what the F is that? You can't roll that mascot out. In fact, if I am De'Aaron Fox, if I'm DeMar DeRozan, if I am any of the Sacramento Kings, I am refusing to take the court if Royale is in the building. Seriously. And I'm also making sure that my kids are not at the game. I don't want that thing anywhere near my family or my kids. Thing's terrifying. So give me your takes. Who do you think Royale is? We are 24 hours out since Royale has been released, and I think he's still sticking around. You Kings fans who might be going tonight, you better well as hell hope that the Kings are not wearing those jerseys tonight. Holy moly. What a disaster. This thing went bad It went bad quick, right? Okay, it's this smile right there. And I get Huggy's mouth is a little bit more wide open, but it's not, it's the shape, it's everything. It is. It's a crime to make Slamson wear that face. It's a great point, Lights. You just served up a facial, dude. If I'm Slamson too, I'm not putting that thing on. You're going to be haunted for life if you put that damn thing on. And look at it too. I said it yesterday. I'm pretty sure those shoes that Royale is wearing, I bought from a mall kiosk as slippers. Like, the Kings couldn't do any. What are they going to have Royale doing at the games? Are they expecting him to play a couple of minutes? Look at him. They got the shoulders pumped up a little bit, you know, kind of like the Wade statue. He's in full game gear. He's leaned out. He's a little bit jacked in the biceps. Like, are they expecting him to play a few minutes? Now, the only useful thing for Royale is to stick his ass right behind the basket when the other team is shooting free throws. Make them stare at that. That will break your concentration. That might break your concentration more than the Arizona State student section. Gosh, those guys were the best. Does anybody remember the Arizona State student section for basketball? They literally had like this little curtain that was attached to PVC pipe. And they would hide behind the curtain. And as soon as somebody came to the free throw line, they would rip the curtain open and they would be acting out some type of goofy scene. And they would do the most ridiculous things, like dudes in labor, like hilarious, freaking hilarious. Bane, the King's Cake Baby's dad, New Orleans Pelicans mascot. Yeah, it's the King's Cake Baby's dad. Look, there's no way the Kings are holding baby races anymore if Royale is in the building. Not a chance in the world. Not a chance in the world. Adam, are you an ASU guy? Are you an ASU guy? The curtain, yeah, the curtain is legendary. That was one of my regrets. I wish I was playing college basketball and played at Arizona State when they were doing that. Really good stuff. Anyways, Adam, speaking of him, he's going to be here in about 7 minutes. We'll be talking WWE. Somebody said it looked like Haunted Horse. That's not very nice. Kind of reminds you of Haunted Horse. Looks like a troll. See, that's what I'm thinking. They've got to be trolling us, right? They're not rolling that thing out. Had a nightmare about that weirdo's face. He stirs up mischief, right? BJ, I'm with you, dude. I would rather the Kings put on a Huggy Wuggy costume and throw a Kings jersey on it. Seriously, Huggy Wuggy would look better than that thing. Holy crap. I got it, Lights. I already put it up once. Nowhere near. I nowhere. Right? Nowhere. He walks a direction, you run the other way. Period. End of story. And I wonder if we got a chance to see the merch numbers, if the Kings release like Royale merchandise, it's going to be brutal. Or it's going to be amazing because it seems like ugly sells these days. Huggy Wuggy, popular as hell. Ugly as hell. It's like the more obscure, the more popular. If the Kings' sole purpose of releasing this mascot was to go viral or draw attention, they have accomplished that. They have absolutely accomplished that. So anyways, we are having fun at Royale's expense. He's got the people's eyebrow. You're joking about Haunted. Well, you remember Haunted did call the Jim Rome show and say that, he has an illegitimate child. Not my words, his. So I don't know. Maybe they're related. Could be. Could be indeed. And dude, Royale, dude needs to quit sleeping in a tanning bed. Royale, mix in some aloe vera, man. You are orange, brother. Dude, not good. Skin cancer. Royale, I'm looking out for you. Even though your face is the same colors as a catcher's mitt. Get out of that tanning bed, dude. Can't do it. It's not safe. Does Royale have shoulder pads? Seems like it, Flores. Look at that. He's got the shoulders pumped up. I don't know, man. What if they put Royale jumping off a trampoline and dunking? I could see the Kings doing something like that. I'm getting a SpongeBob vibe from that thing, John. Yeah, good old SpongeBob. I can promise you one place that you don't have to worry about running into Royale at is Bennett's. I love me some Bennett's, and there is so many different reasons why it is one of my favorite. No, scratch that. My favorite restaurant here in the greater Sacramento area. Yes, 3 locations in all here in the greater Sac Town area. Roseville, Rockland, which is the West Side Grill that you're looking at, and Howe and Fair Oaks in Sacramento, Carmichael, whatever you want to call it, Howe and Fair Oaks. But go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Do me a favor, look at the specials. They might have the best specials around for a sit-down restaurant. And not only are they good specials, it is incredible food. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. We talk about the redfish all the time, the New York prime steak to die for, the steak and frites, the short rib, the steak Cobb salad. I could go on for days. They've got a great happy hour as well, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 o'clock. Sips and taste, as they like to call them. They have 60 different wines by the glass. And don't forget weekend brunch, one of my favorites as well. They are starting to take pre-orders for Thanksgiving meals, ready and hot to go. If you don't want to cook for the family, leave that to Bennett's. You can pre-order at Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Also, they will be open on Thanksgiving if you are going to go out and eat. I respect that. Do it. Check them out. What I'm saying, get to Bennett'sRestaurants.com to check out all of the specials, their locations. You can make your reservations right there. You can buy gift cards, much more. Huge thanks to Bennett's for sponsoring the King's Court today. And when you go in, make sure you tell them that you heard about them here on the King's Court. Fun show today, Royal Rumble Friday. We are getting you ready for the Kings and the T-Wolves tonight. Tipping off later from the G1C. We still have not talked about the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. We can get to that in a little bit as well. Haunted Horse may be joining us for some NFL parlays. We can talk about Thursday Night Football. And coming up right now, we are going to talk some WWE. It's Friday, so it's our weekly wrestling segment. We bring in our wrestling correspondent, our aficionado. That is Adam. What's up, dude? Happy Friday.
That's not my name. How do I? Here we go.
You did Royale. You know, I feel bad for my buddy Al, who calls the show all the time. He's a freaking legend. Do not put Al in the same category. It's not cool.
I keep thinking Royale with cheese every time you say it. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Bane says, too bad they just missed Halloween, right? That's what I'm saying. It just seems like a troll thing.
Well, I'm looking at that, and we were the Cincinnati Royals at one point, and Mr. Red sort of reminds me of Royale. So maybe it's like the same guy, and the Buckeye mascot kind of looks all similar to that. So, dude, it's just the same dude.
I'm just saying, you've got elements, Adam, of the Brawler, right? You got some elements of him there. You've got Big Boy to a degree. You've got, as you said, Brutus.
Oh, yeah, that's Brutus.
And you've got some Huggy Wuggy in it.
I don't know about the Huggy Wuggy.
Look at the teeth. The teeth are the crown of Royale. Look at that. That's the crown. That thing's not even a crown, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, if that's a wrestling gimmick, I'm still like, what are you thinking?
No, they should bring him in. He could be the fifth member for War Games.
There you go. That's actually a brilliant idea, dude.
Royale will join the new bloodline, and we'll have Slamson join the old bloodline.
You know what? I kind of like it. Put him through a table, send him to hell, and be done with it. I just don't want to see this thing anywhere near the Golden One Center. Unfortunately, we're going to. So, busy week in wrestling. They've got a pay-per-view coming up here in a couple weeks. War Games at the end of the month. Adam, what's happening in wrestling this week? What do we need to know about?
What's happening, man? Well, we're searching for that fifth member for each side for War Games. That seems to be the big question mark that's up in the air right now. There's some rumors going out around. Who do you think it's going to be, Rhino?
I already know.
All right, I'm out.
I know. Okay. I think.
All right. Well, entertain me. I'll go.
Yes.
I think it is going to be that Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. I think somehow Seth comes around and he's willing to team up with our boy Roman again.
Yep, I agree with you. That was the name that I was going to throw out too.
Okay,
but
great.
Did you think that?
So they announce it tonight because tonight is pre-recorded. So you spoiled it for yourself or what?
Well, no, they pre-recorded Raw.
And I think okay. So then maybe this week they're pre-recording SmackDown as well, I believe.
Right.
So tonight, okay, cool.
Yep. So I hate when they do that.
I do too.
I hate that. Let's talk. So this is starting to go viral. You and I have talked a ton about this offline. The ticket prices for WWE. Astra freaking nomical.
Yeah.
A nosebleed at SmackDown is like $100 before fees right now.
Oh, just any SmackDown right now.
Any SmackDown. $100 for a nosebleed.
Wild. They just released, I think, all the general admission seating for Royal Rumble. And I did see some decently priced tickets there, less than 1,000, less than 500, 400. I think they're, 150, 200 something bucks, but I'll take that. But yeah, this is crazy. I don't get what caused this sort of switch in pricing. I mean, it's crazy.
So Ticketmaster does this thing called, and it's such a cop out, by the way, but by the teams and, the organizations or the concerts or the performer, whatever, that go through Ticketmaster, they always put it on Ticketmaster because of their quote unquote dynamic pricing. Kings fans know this. If a good team comes to town, you're going to pay more for that game versus a bad team. And because WWE's demand right now, according to Ticketmaster, is so high, that's what's driving up the prices. But there's been a ton of pushback about WrestleMania tickets.
I mean, I love the product and all that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the fans should sort of just make their voices heard by not purchasing tickets. Hit them where it hurts, I mean, that's where they make, obviously they make a ton of money off of, their deals with Netflix and USA and all that stuff. But, just like any concert, right? Like those artists make all their money on the road touring. And I would assume that that's probably pretty true with WWE as well. Maybe not so much because they have TV and all that, but
yeah,
you got to take a chunk out of them, Dan Campbell them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to a degree because I remember like when I was younger, they're doing less house shows. For those that don't know, house shows are untelevised events, basically, which is now also driving the prices a little bit more up if they do a house show or, Raws and SmackDowns are more exclusive, I guess. But they used to do a ton of house shows back in the day, Adam.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Every night.
I'd go with my dad, I'd go with whoever. And I remember tickets were like 50, 60 bucks, like, and you're on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, so like you're taking away that opportunity for parents to take their kids and kind of really get entwined in that project. Well, not project, but entwined into that wrestling culture, wrestling, you know, fandom.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's insanity. And you know, I mean, even earlier this year, I went to SmackDown right before WrestleMania when it was here in Dallas, and my daughter and I probably paid, you know, $150 a ticket or whatever, but we were sitting pretty decent, lower level. And I was fine with that. Like, we had great seats. We got to see everything, and you know, I didn't expect to pay less than $150 for lower level tickets, but you know, if you're starting to charge $1,200, $1,500 for that same ticket, like, I get it's a premium live event, whatever, but that's just outrageous. And yeah, I just think it's kind of a slap in the face for the fans. I understand it's hot right now, but I think the worst thing you could do is gouge your customers on it.
I agree. I mean, here's the problem with wrestling fans. You've got the hardcores that will spend their trust fund to go to every event and sit front row, right? And then you have the families that used to depend on, you know, kind of the cheaper upper level tickets, like, and that made up a lot of the crowd. So to take a family to a show now, it's crazy expensive. Bane has go ahead.
Before we hit that, Bane, you know, are they driving people to AEW? AEW is not selling out any events.
It's a great point.
And you know, if we can go there for cheaper, maybe the show and the production's not as great, but it's still fun. Going to a live event is always fun.
It's a great point.
And you know, you might screw yourself over by doing this.
It's a great point. All right, so Bane has a question.
Love this question.
Well, go for it. I'm not even going to read it.
So Bane says, Kevin Owens recently used the pile driver, a banned move, on Orton during SmackDown. Thoughts on reintroducing high-risk maneuvers, new shift towards more intense storytelling? Well, I think the argument that people were having online is that, oh, AEW does it all the time. And a lot of people were ridiculing Kevin's pile driver. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, go ask any of the old school wrestlers who suffered serious injuries from pile drivers and ask them how they feel about Kevin's execution of it. I felt fine with it. I don't know that we need to start reintroducing that sort of stuff. I think it's banned for a reason. And, you know, I was a huge Stone Cold fan. I still am, right? But he suffered some bad neck injuries from a pile driver, but you know, you hate to see like your favorite person go on the shelf for a year, possibly for the rest of their career, because you know, you misjudged an inch or so from the ground and ended up screwing up their back. So I don't love it. I don't love it. And I get it. I miss the days of the Tombstone pile driver. That was a killer move. But if it's between having one move being allowed versus our favorite characters not being able to perform anymore, I think I would rather not go that route.
Yeah, WWE has a very specific style, which is why they send a lot of people to the Performance Center that have not wrestled in WWE before. I think I actually loved it because it's not going to be a move you're going to keep seeing. It was a strategically done move because Orton had surgery on his neck. You pull it out once every 2 years to, make it. It was exactly what the storyline needed to keep driving up the intensity of this Owens character. Like, dude doesn't give an F, right?
Mhm.
So I thought it was really, really smart. And how he performed it, of course he's going to perform it that way. The guys in AEW, there's a reason, like, and I'll even go back to the ECW days. There's a reason why ECW was successful. And there's a reason why a lot of those dudes can barely walk
Yeah.
anymore, right? And AEW kind of toes that fine line. There's a lot of stuff there that's not going to be sustainable. And they did that with Will Ospreay, where they're doing this Tiger Driver move, which is dangerous as shit. If you've ever seen that move,
I haven't seen it, but I'll have to check it out.
it is freaky to watch. I'll pull it up after I ask you the next question.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it's just something they pulled out and put it. It's not going to come back. They're not going to keep doing it.
And I think you nailed it on the head perfectly. Like, if it's something that they break out every couple of years, and it's a really safe way to do it, like, cool. I do think it really added to the storyline, but all the scrutiny for that. What do you want him to do? Like, it's 40-something-year-old Randy Orton who's had, he's got like metal vertebrae or something crazy. I don't know. But,
the only people that are complaining about it are the people that watch AEW and WWE. It's not the WWE fans that are complaining about it, in my opinion.
Good question,
okay.
Dave.
Yeah, good question. All right, so here's the next question. A lot of talk about Cena. His return tour is coming up. He confirmed this is going to be his last Royal Rumble. Adam, what the hell do you do with John Cena at the Royal Rumble?
I think here's the question, right? Is he going to hit 17? And
yes.
I think they're going to put him over on that, right? So, you've got Gunther versus Damian Priest coming up. Do I see Damian Priest beating Gunther? No, but maybe he does. And then maybe John Cena beats a Damian Priest to win that. Then we can go into SummerSlam and someone dethrones John Cena at SummerSlam.
All right. Okay. For those that are wondering what the Tiger Driver 91 is, this is the Tiger Driver 91. It is not a very good move. Here y'all go. Yeah. Right on the back of your neck. There's no way to take that bump.
Yeah. That doesn't look very fun.
There's no way at all to take that bump. So
right.
Anyway, so okay, if you book Cena into getting the 17th title, doesn't that have to happen before WrestleMania? You can't have Cena in a title match at WrestleMania.
Why not?
Because you've got like CM Punk, who's definitely going to want his moment. It was supposed to happen
he's coming
last
back
year.
at War Games as well, by the way.
Okay, there you go. So you've got Punk to consider. What about Jey Uso? You got to capitalize. Are you going to push Jey Uso out another year? You've got Cody, Gunther. I mean, I don't know. Orton also. There's a lot of talk around that. Kevin Owens. How do you not build up to a Kevin Owens possible title? Like,
Drew.
Like, do you do it before or after, Adam? I guess WrestleMania doesn't need it, right?
It doesn't need it, but wouldn't that make it so much more special if John Cena won his 17th at WrestleMania?
A balding John Cena?
Hey. Yeah. I know. I get that part too, right? Not unbelievable because Hogan was a champion at 100 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think you give him that send off. I think that would be really cool. I have a problem with the contenders between the two world titles right now. Because there's no one there for Cody to fight right now. Like, we're going to go back to the well with KO probably. maybe it's Randy Orton down the line, but I feel like with Gunther, there's a buttload of people that I could list off that could be potential contenders for that belt. And so that's why I think it would be Cena going for that belt. I know we're not going to see Cody lose his belt anytime soon.
Yeah, they're gonna keep Cody going nice and strong, as Soof said. I don't see Cena coming back as a heel for his final run. There's no way.
No
You've
chance,
kept him,
dude.
you've kept him a face this long, and if you did that, you're gonna ruin a potential. Like, really, the Cody turn, if and when it happens, it will be the biggest turn since Hogan, if they do it right.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Like we were talking about last week. I'm excited for the Dom face turn more than the Cody heel.
There's another. See, there's so many.
Right.
So many names.
We've
So
got-
who do
Oh,
you
yeah,
think wins the Royal? Like, if you had to fantasy book the winner of the Royal Rumble, with everything going around, The Rock possibly going around.
Yeah, I don't know if The Rock's gonna come out for Royal Rumble. I don't know, man. I think if you like, Bronson Reed's got a ton of steam right now, and they're pushing him pretty
There's
hard.
another name. Yeah.
I think you throw Bronson Reed to win Royal Rumble, give him a title shot. I think that might be the play. I don't know. We could. It's got to be someone new, right? Like, somebody new's got to win Royal Rumble.
I don't see the Jey Uso thing. To me, Jey Uso is the most over. Let's take Cody out of Cody's in his own universe, right?
Yep.
So let's take him out of the conversation. Jey Uso is the most popular and most over wrestler, both merchandise, crowd, everything right now. Like, it's starting to kind of hit that Jeff Hardy level before Hardy won the title. And once you get to that level, you can't sustain it for too long. Cody's the exception to the rule because there's so much history there with his dad and stuff. So I just don't see, and I'm kind of with Soof, Jey Uso needs to win the Rumble. And the only other option would be if you're going to get like another Jey versus Roman match. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either. I don't know. The bloodline does feel a little bit weird right now. They feel way more like individual wrestlers than they are the old bloodline, and that's to Jay's credit more than anything.
I think that's how it's supposed to feel, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're doing a good job. Hopefully, we can see the wise man come back here soon.
I agree. Jimmy Uso, though, man, this dude's just in no man's land.
Yeah,
he's just kind of like a stooge out there.
Well, here's my problem with it. They keep bringing him out with Roman and Roman's music. Like, not that I love Jimmy's music. I think it's kind of weird.
It's cringe.
Yeah, it's bad. But like, they're not even like, give him something, man. But who knows? Like, I don't know. Where Jimmy, yeah. I do feel bad for him a little bit. Like, his brother got this huge push and he's kind of just hanging with Roman.
Yeah, but
hanging on the coattails.
His brother also. Okay, that's a perfect analogy right there. Like, it's not like WWE handed Jey Uso yeet. And he's built himself into, like, he's kind of done this organically.
Mhm.
It's not like, and yes, the machine finally did kind of get behind him, but he really built his brand up to a degree on his own.
Yeah, I mean, and you were rooting for him to, super kick all those guys before Roman lost the title. You wanted him to split from them. And yeah, he was super hot coming out of Bloodline. And then I felt like it cooled for, I don't know, 6 months or so there while he was still kind of getting the.
Because he lost to Roman at
Yeah.
SummerSlam, yeah.
And, then like the yeet thing felt like it took off, massively in the last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 4 or 5 months, something like that.
It's insane how over it is.
Yeah.
At first when he started doing it, and we'll get ready to wrap up the segment here,
Yeah.
but when he started doing it, I'm like, this is so stupid. He looks dumb, the song's dumb, and
And
I'm dumb.
I don't know, the Yeet doesn't fit with the bloodline, in my opinion. Like him wearing the red Yeet shirts, I don't know, it feels weird. Like he had this, sort of like those weird Miami Heat jersey vibes with all of his gear. And now he's back to the black and red, and I don't know. It does feel weird. I don't really like the whole bloodline being back together. The more I see him out there, I don't like it.
I feel you. All right. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're doing.
That's a super question. Yeah, you can find me at The Casual Guy Cast on YouTube and YouTube and Twitch, at Casual Guy Cast on X, and I'll stream on all those platforms. Whenever I get back to streaming, I apologize. It's been a wild month as I got called out on our next guest show last night. Yeah, I haven't been doing a ton lately. Been really busy, and I was sick there for a minute. So, but I'm feeling good now. I just gotta carve some time out for it. But I've just been so freaking busy, man. I'm getting my butt kicked right now.
I am going to bury that next guest if he shows up for what he did to you last night.
No.
That dude gets on a power trip when he has a camera and a microphone in front of him.
I appreciate the call out, man. It's nice to know that someone's paying attention, to be honest. But yeah, he called me out, so I gotta do right by Horsey.
Hey, Haunted Horse, if you show up, I'm gonna.
And then Ryan just busted you up.
I'm gonna bust you up, bro. I'm gonna bust you up like Roman said.
Don't do it.
So, all right, dude. Thanks for coming on. Good job.
Bro.
We'll see you next Friday.
Yes,
Go
sir.
check out Adam's channels and take that Royale thing away. That's creepy. All right. We are back in. Good stuff from Adam talking WWE. If you don't like WWE, I'm sorry. A large part of this crowd does, and I like it too. So we'll make it appealable for you. We try to make it a little bit more fun. We may have Haunted Hours coming up here in a few minutes. We got about 20 minutes left in the show. We got to talk about this. It's the biggest thing going tonight. It is the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight on Netflix. I love that it's on Netflix. Really smart. Really, really smart. In fact, one of my buddies today, he's like, oh, can you guys, because our group of friends, we communicate through an app called Marco Polo. And if you're thinking about getting it, don't. This is not an endorsement. It is the crappiest app ever. It crashes all the time. Half the time it doesn't work. But we were talking about the fight earlier this morning, and he's like, oh, can one of you guys like bootleg it to me? Can you stream it to me? We're like, dude, you don't have Netflix? Like, you can't sign up for a free account? What are you doing? Yes, the fight is tonight. Like, who doesn't have Netflix? No offense if you don't have Netflix, but if you want to watch the fight, get a free trial of Netflix and be done with it. But anyways, it is on Netflix. I'm looking forward to it. I love Mike Tyson. Look, he's a dude that's got a not great past. If you want to go through his entire record, but name me another athlete that has had a bigger turnaround. And granted, Mike did some bad things, but he paid his time. He did his time for those things. And so in Mike's latter years, he's done some fun stuff. He's become a lovable guy, but guess what? Underneath that lovable guy, dude is still a killer. Now, as for Jake Paul, if you are expecting me to hate on Jake Paul, you're watching the wrong show. I have nothing but love for this guy. He is a genius. The Paul brothers, both of them are geniuses. Now, granted, their drink or Logan's drink sucks. Prime is awful. That stuff's way too sweet, but my son loves it. I don't know why. My son loves it. But anyways, they are really good at anything they do. They've had a tough upbringing, And quite frankly, when Jake got into boxing, it was a novelty thing, right? It was for views, right? He's really geared what he does and basically his being towards boxing now, and he's pretty damn good at it. Now, he's fought some bigger names in exhibitions. He had his first loss to Tyson Fury's brother. Tonight's fight, a couple interesting things about this. The first is it is actually sanctioned by the state of Texas. That was a big surprise to me. Thought this was going to be considered an amateur fight. It is actually sanctioned. Now, that is a little bit of a controversy to some fight purists, but take it for what it's going to be and what it actually is. And it's this, it's keeping boxing relevant. Boxing's dead to the mainstream. You might watch boxing, you might know who the contenders are, but you don't have the and I was not a Mayweather guy, but you don't have the Mayweathers, the De La Hoyas, the Muhammad Alis, the Mike Tysons, the George Foreman, even though he's better known for his grill and his 29 kids at this point. But boxing, as we used to know it, MMA has replaced it. So the fact that Jake Paul is quasi keeping boxing on life support, I'm all for it. So don't treat it like it's a true fight. Treat it for what it is. It's not. It is to put eyes on a product that is literally, again, on life support. So it's going to be, check this out, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, 8 2-minute rounds, and they're both going to be wearing 14-ounce gloves in the fight. So I think those gloves are a little bit heavier. And Mike Tyson, man, he can still freaking throw him. I don't know exactly how old Tyson is at this point, but he is in great shape. He had a health issue, which was documented, which is why this fight was pushed back. You can bet this thing's going to bring in a massive amount of money for Netflix with the advertisers. Paul is 10-1 in his career, 7 KOs. He's a novice pro with no wins of significance, as it states, I should say, in Sporting News. Now, this was the other very interesting thing to me about this fight. There is massive betting interest behind this fight. Now, I'm going off of the article on ESPN that is dated from yesterday at just before 1 o'clock Eastern. The odds have been drifting towards Tyson, with sportsbooks reporting upward of 90% of the bets being on the underdog. Tyson, 58. He has moved from a plus 225 to a plus 175 this week at ESPN bet. Jake Paul is listed at a minus 225 favorite, while Tyson is garnering the majority of wagers. The bigger ones are on Paul, including a $1 million bet placed with Caesar Sportsbook by a bettor in Michigan at the minus 220 odds. The bet would pay a net of $454,000. DraftKings Sportsbook's director Johnny Avello told ESPN on Thursday that it had taken 2 $500,000 bets on Paul to win. As we get closer to the fight, we're seeing a lot more of the small bets come in. Quote, took a couple of big bets on Paul, but it's going to overcome all the bets. It's not going to overcome all the bets on Tyson. BetMGM said in a release that they expect Tyson Paul to be the most bet on boxing match in the online sportsbook 7-year history. So it's exactly what I said it was. It is putting eyeballs on a sport that really, unless you're a hardcore, unless you are staying up and watching the Ocho for junior, superweight, whatever boxing, and no disrespect to boxing fan or boxers themselves, it's just not relevant anymore. I couldn't tell you one legitimate champion in boxing. I couldn't probably name you any of the major belts. I have no idea. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to see how Jake Paul specifically keeps evolving. I want to see what he can do to maybe bring this sport back. Make it a comeback. Remember, like, boxing was the thing, yo. You had all the celebrities always in the front row. There was a big fight in Vegas. It was the thing to watch. You had HBO boxing, Showtime boxing. I know that stuff is still there, but MMA has completely changed the game. It has. And here's the other part of it. It's a brutal sport. It is a dangerous sport. Look at all the attention on CTE and concussions in the NFL. If you're a kid right now or a parent with a child, you going to send your kid to be a boxer? I could get MMA because there's different types of arts to the sport. There's jiu-jitsu. There's all these different things to learn. There's kickboxing. There's a bunch of different things that you can do that don't involve the head, but obviously your head's at risk. Now, any of these other sports out there, bare knuckle fighting, what are we, Neanderthals? Are we really going back to bare knuckle fighting? Stupid. That needs to go away. What about Dana White's Power Slap League? I don't know what to make of that, quite frankly. I don't. I gave you my take on it. I tried to watch it, and I was immediately just looking at the people standing behind the slappers, and I'm like, that looks like Forrest Griffin. Wait, there's no way Forrest Griffin would be holding these guys up. What would Forrest Griffin be doing there? It was Forrest freaking Griffin. So I stayed on and I watched it to watch Forrest Griffin catch dudes. But Power Slap, I don't think that's here to stay. But Jake Paul could work out or could dig out a nice little niche for boxing, exhibition style or possibly pro. Looking forward to it. Talk about two polarizing figures. This is not one of those fights where it's like Jake Paul versus Butterbean, right? It's Mike freaking Tyson. It's Iron Mike Tyson. Now, don't get it mixed up. There is no bad blood between these two. That slap yesterday was closer to a push to the chin than an actual slap. And I bet if Vegas put odds on whether or not there would be physical contact during the weigh-ins in the stare down, I bet you would have had to put down like $500 to win 100 betting that there would be contact because it's so predictable. This is just as one of my really good friends. I'm not going to steal his line. I'm going to give him credit for his line. In fact, I can't say his name because then I'm breaking our rules. But one of my very good friends earlier today said this is a quarter inch away from WWE. And it is. He's correct. Except it's two dudes that I find likable. And it's two dudes that everybody seems to have differing opinions on. You may love Tyson and hate Paul. You may love Paul and hate Tyson. You want to see somebody get knocked out, right? So you're going to watch. Why did we always watch Floyd Mayweather fights? Because you wanted to see his cocky ass get knocked out. You wanted to see Mr. Defense hit the ground. Floyd Mayweather never fought a fight in his career. He played defense in fights in his career. And I would still love to see that guy get knocked out. But anyways, it's going to be a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. AT&T Stadium. How about that? How about that? Here's some of the other odds for you according to ESPN Bet from yesterday. My guess is they have changed by now. Money line, Paul is minus 230. Tyson is plus 180. KO, TKO, or DQ, Paul plus 145. Tyson plus 265. To win in 3.5 rounds, Paul is plus 140. Tyson is plus 425. To win in round 1 or 2, Paul is plus 950. So he's the underdog there. Tyson plus 600. So what are your predictions for this one? I think it goes the distance. I don't think anybody gets knocked out in this one. Now, if it is, in fact, a quarter inch away from WWE getting knocked out, especially Tyson knocking out Paul, is what you would want to see. Because then that would lead probably to another fight. I'm not going to lie. There's a little bit of me that wants to see Paul knock out Tyson, or see Tyson knock out Paul, because it's Mike Tyson. And it's not because I don't like Jake Paul. It's because I want to see Tyson knock somebody out again. So give me your thoughts on the fight. Are you going to be watching the fight? Do you have action on the fight? It's going to be on right around the same time as the Kings game, I believe. So you're going to have to bounce back and forth. And don't forget about us here. We will be here doing the post game, doing the halftime show, doing the pregame. We will, I will get Grant to break the rules. I will bend the rules and allow updates on the fights and maybe even a question or two about the fight and talk about it if something significant were to happen, like a Paul or Tyson knockout. So let me know where you stand on that. Again, we also have Kings and T-Wolves tonight. We've talked a ton about that so far today. Let's see. Let's go to the comments again really quick so we get ready to wrap up. It doesn't look like we're going to have any haunted horse today, which is fine because I was going to.
And then Ryan just busted you up.
I was going to bust him up if he showed up. What he did to Adam was not cool, man. Haunted Horse. And I'm kind of kidding too, but Haunted Horse likes to poke the bear. What a thought. Who would have thought that Haunted Horse is the guy? He's the straw that likes to stir the drink. I think I said it is like 58 or 59. He's 59, I believe. Let's go back up to the article so we make sure that we get that right. Tyson is 58. Mike Tyson is 58. Paul is 27. You know what? If Paul knocks out Tyson, is it elder abuse? No, I think it's 65 or over. I shouldn't joke around about that. That's not funny. But seriously, Tyson's in great shape. It's going to be fun to watch. Didn't he beat Nate Robinson? Yeah, dude, Nate Robinson should have never gotten in the ring. That was bad. I feel bad for Nate, man. Nate can't stay out of Nate's way, unfortunately. You see Sal. Yeah, everybody calls BJ Sal. BJ. What about Tyrone Woolley? Was he good? I don't really know. I will admittedly say I don't pay attention to boxing. Will I watch a big fight here and there if it's on? Sure. But I know nothing about it going into it. I might recognize a name here or there. Woodley was awesome. There's usually a lot of stipulations. Yeah. I bet on a right hand slap yesterday and won free tickets to the slap off in Vegas. Well done. Butterbean healed after DDP yoga. Did he really? You know, as much as you want to make fun of DDP, he's done some really good things for some wrestlers that were very off track and probably would have died sooner than they actually passed. Some of them still alive. Jake Roberts. Not sure if Tyson has enough stamina, but I want Tyson to win. There you go. 8 2-minute rounds. I got to think Mike's going to be able to get through that. And, you know, if you watch the lead up on Netflix, Mike saying, I'm in the best shape of my life. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. What's he going to say? Oh, well, I'm in pretty good shape. Of course he's going to say that, but it's a valid point. Will he have enough stamina? Look, if you've ever done any type of sparring, if you've ever done any type of jiu-jitsu, any of MMA training, it's hard stuff. Like, it is freaking hard. In fact, there are NFL players that do that training in the off season for the cardio. So it might sound easy. The 2-minute rounds. What does LA Knight say, Adam? Nada. Yeah, it's not easy. Good thing about this boxing is, or good thing about this. Boxing, is its great athletes. Oh, okay. We WWE don't have the high level athletes and power lifters like they used to. Derek, are you crazy? Derek, we'll have a bigger conversation about that. Now, you throw in Sami Zayn, which is probably the best example to your point, but there's a ton of other examples that go the opposite direction. And it's not like when you think about their athleticism, Derek, you can't just think about the like high risk moves and the stuff that they do in the ring, their offense. You also have to figure into the equation all the bumps that they take, my man. You got to be a freaking athlete to be able to take a bump. Let's see. Butterbean doing cannonball shows in Vegas, poetry in motion. Good for him. HH has Tree Fitty on Paul. Tree Fitty. Nice. They're using 14 ounce instead of 10. There you go. So you don't know about a KO? I don't know, man. Would you want to get hit with 14 ounce gloves from Tyson? I don't. Let's see. HH has an 8-way parlay with the Kings game, Paul versus Tyson, and the local dodgeball game. Derek, my man, I acknowledge you. That is a great comment right there. Haunted Horse, busy counting his Safeway points in his cans, his recycling cans. Has he talked about that on this show? I'm sure he has. So the rules in Oregon are so much different when it comes to recycling. In the process for recycling, Haunted Horse has what he estimates to be like over $900 of recycling at home. Because he used to drink a ton of Diet Coke, and I mean a ton. No, it's cool. All right. Paul knocking out Tyson would be the major heel play. Yes, it would. Absolutely, it would. Great point, Derek. Derek, dude, he's serving up facials right now. Let's see. If Paul knocks out Tyson, it's going to be a bit sad. I agree. See, and that's what I don't know. I know Buster Douglas did it. I don't have, because of my age, a very strong memory of, Mike Tyson round to round. I remember the big moments, the Evander Holyfield bite, some of that stuff, but I don't really remember how Tyson's chin was. I feel like it's pretty good from my memory, but I could be wrong. Again, not a big boxing person anymore. Feel the buying. DDP is cool. And what about his ex, Kim Page? She was a fox. I don't know who Kim Page is, but I do know who Mina Shirakawa is. I got introduced to her about 2 months ago. Go look up Mina Shirakawa, pro wrestler. Also look up Julia Hart. Julia Hart. Holy crap. She's coming back too. Don't really like LA Knight. Oh, Adam's going to fight you. Adam is going to fight you on that. My English is off today. All good, Derek. Tiffany is a top athlete. Yeah, and WWE needs to quit wasting Tiffy. They got to quit wasting her. Anyways, hey, we've got a big night of content for you. Oh, Christopher. Why do I always rip on Bako? Christopher, if I had more than a minute left in this show, I would talk about it. Why do I always rip on Bako? Because it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit, Christopher. It's the worst sit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's a clone thing. It's a brand. I have nothing against Bakersfield. Now, if you listen to the Jim Rome show, you're going to think I have something against Bakersfield. I will say this, Christopher. I hate driving through Bakersfield if I'm going to LA. I never take 99 anymore. Same thing with Fresno. So that's kind of, Christopher, actually, that's how the whole thing started. It was having to drive through Bakersfield. It was having to drive through Fresno to get to San Diego. That's where it started. The cities bugged me. There was nothing there. They're just flat, ugly, traffic. I just didn't like them. So that's how it started. But hit me with that another time, Christopher, and I'll give you a better answer. That's funny though. Good job by you. All right. So remember, we've got a ton of content coming your way tonight. Kings, Timberwolves, our content for the game starts at 6:15, beginning with the pregame show. Hopefully you can join us for that. Jerry Reynolds, the one and only, with us at halftime. At the half intermission, we'll be talking about the first 24, giving our predictions for the second half, giving you the things to watch, and hopefully talking about the keys to a Kings victory. And post game, don't forget, game 13 tonight. Grant and I will wrap it up, open up the phones to all of you. Should be a big show tonight. It's a Friday night game. Really a game where if you are going, bring the energy. It's a game where the Kings have to bring the energy right off the bat. They've got to show Anthony Edwards different looks, and they've got to push the T-Wolves off the three-point line like they did for most of the first matchup. They did that so well through 2.9 quarters. And then the Timberwolves took over. But before all that, Grant is coming back at 4 o'clock. He'll be here, open forum. Make sure you join him. Should be a really fun show. Talking about Thursday Night Football last night. Do we have a new favorite in the MVP race? Jalen Hurts. Incredible what him and Kellen Moore have done since the bye week for the Eagles, what they did during the bye week to get on the same page. Really cool stuff. Grant, we'll talk more about that, talk about the game. I bet he'll probably throw in some thoughts about Royale. So make sure that y'all come back at 4 o'clock with him. If you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You can scan the QR code right there and become a subscribee. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, retweet, a like, however you're watching. We are streaming to numerous YouTube accounts and X accounts. Right now, the show continues to grow, so thank you all very much. I so appreciate you letting me into your office, your homes, your cars. It is a complete pleasure to be here and on this platform and hosting a show for all of you. It's something that I do not take for granted, and I am extremely grateful for. If you want some more Rhino, make sure that you scan that QR code. The King's Court is not just a live show. You got to realize that. We do on most mornings, we do morning shoot-arounds, which is listener exclusive, posted to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X. On the weekends, you get exclusive shows there. It's basically, you know, these other Kings insiders around town that charge you money to get their information. I don't charge you anything. Just subscribe to the podcast. That is good enough. And I promise you, you will really enjoy it. I've gotten a ton of good feedback on that as well. So thank you all so much again. Fun Friday. My thanks to Adam for coming in, doing the WWE segment. That was awesome. Kings, T-Wolves tonight. Can't wait for that. Thank you guys for making it such a great week here on If You Don't Like That. Can't wait to be back with you tonight at 6:15. But remember, first, 4 o'clock, Grant will be right back here doing his open forum show. So come back and show Napes some love. All right, big game tonight. Kings, T-Wolves. We've got it all covered for you right here on If You Don't Like That. Go Kings. Light the damn beam. Stay the hell away from Levine. Also, make it a great and safe weekend. Huge thanks again to Bennett's for sponsoring today's show. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Court is dismissed. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all.